to flow model is clearly showing we are very close to this bull run that is happening. And of course, we were getting ready to find our lows on full moon has come in. So will this be the official bottom, or could we go lower? But welcome everybody to Crypto Angles podcast number 61. My name is Kelita Sahliah. If you're new, I'm a mother, a real angel, and of course I dabble in crypto. That's why you're here. So over here we combine astrology with the crypto markets, but it's not mainstream tropical astrology. It is the visible sky. So the sun, moon, stars that you see outside every day, if it's not fucking cloudy, that's what we follow. Okay, so it is different to mainstream tropical astrology, and I have to make that clear because yeah, I've had someone a bit upset with this calendar. They're like, everything's wrong. I'm like, it's not wrong, it's just we're following the sky, not mainstream tropical astrology. But anyway, for those who are new, the order of this video, we will look at the astrological story of this cycle. So we're here going from the 23rd to the 29th. Then we'll check out the technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. And that's it. Sometimes there are Gematria connections, but there isn't right now. I found some interesting things, but it just doesn't really fit the crypto narrative. So we'll get back onto Gematria connections when it's time. But if you would like this calendar, it is available before we get into the astrological story. It's available, digital and physical copies available, and there's a buy one, get one free. Just have a read of this if you would like it. So let's get into the astrological story. Anyway, I am doing this right now, Saturday in the day. So it is the full moon. So happy full moon in Sagittarius, strawberry moon, everybody. And the color of the moon, it does really look, it gives the strawberry vibes. But anyway, we're going from this cycle. So as you can see, nothing is really happening except that Saturn is stationed in retrograde, where in Aquarius. Now, let me show you. Happy summer solstice as well, because if you were used to mainstream tropical astrology, you would assume that Saturn was in Pisces, but it's actually not. So I'm going to show you here. It is a little dark, but as you can, well, you can't see because the screen's kind of off, but it's Saturn. You can see it here. We've got Saturn. Today's date, where's today's date? 16th of June today. Is it it's not the 16th of June. That's a lie. It's the 22nd. Why is it on the 16th? Let's just move this to the 22nd. Why didn't it change? It's going to basically be in the same spot anyway. But we're on the 22nd now of June. And as you can see, it's in the constellation Aquarius, okay? Pisces is here, and because it's going to retrograde, it's going to slightly come back into Aquarius before it fully exits and goes into Pisces April 2025. Okay, so I just had to put that out there. And also you can watch this video, Saturn retrograde. I done it yesterday, day ago. So do watch that video. It's very interesting with Saturn retrograde, especially if you want to look into your own life. But let's get into the astrological story of this cycle with how I see Saturn retrograding impacting the crypto market. So the first thing, we are still in our full moon phase. That will last up until the 27th, until we enter into our third quarter moon, which is the transition of energies. So from now, today, up until 27th, you can anticipate price, confirmation burp, solidifying its support level, its new micro support, or it could have already found it. Okay, so if it hasn't fully found it out, it's basically got up until 27th. Or it could have found it already. So we'll check that out, of course, when we look at the technical analysis. But keep in mind, we are still in that bottoming energy. But of course, once price has found its bottom, you can potentially dollar cost average, or you can long the market, depending on what you're doing, whether trading or just investing. So that choice, of course, is yours. But do keep that in mind. We're still in that energy. We could have completed it when we look at the chart, so we could be making our way up, or price could still be finding its bottom. So just keep that in mind. I feel that's so important. And then with Saturn now retrograding, so Saturn is father time, so it will play a big role in how time is spent in the market and everything. Saturn represents consistency, discipline, structure as well, being that father figure. And Saturn often likes to reward. So it's that rewarding aspect I want to bring up. When it comes to retrogrades, oftentimes people think it is a slowing down and things of that nature, but it depends on life, whether it's slowing it down or picking it up. But ultimately, retrogrades gives you the time and capacity to fulfill things you didn't have the time, space, or capacity to do before. So linking that to the markets, we know we are very close, as I says, to the crypto bull run, and we'll look more into this chart. I'll talk about it in a moment. But Saturn likes to reward. We're entering into this Saturn retrograde. We're very close to the first part of our actual bull run. So will this bull run, will this retrograde offer the energy and the momentum to move the market forward? Because like I says, it crosses the I's, dotted the T's of things it doesn't have before. And Saturn, because it is about time, I'm focusing on the time element. Has the market been structured, disciplined, consistent in order, just make sure the mic's still on, in order for Saturn to reward and give the rewards necessary? Because Saturn, as long as you're disciplined and consistent, it will reward. So I'm kind of seeing Saturn is retrograding until November. So let's take a look. October. Oh, come on. November. Saturn. See Saturn right here at stations direct. We're in Aquarius on the 15th. So we're in this Saturn energy for a while. Oh, we're getting a beaver moon. Oh, fascinating. So it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Will this rewarding of Saturn come at the end of oh, I've gone too far. Will it come at the end of November? Basically, will we see just lows and suppression in the market until Saturn finishes retrograde? Or are we going to see movements before? Now, I'm anticipating movements before because not only my other video, Leave the World Behind, where was that? It's somewhere. So check out my video of Leave the World Behind, because I was like, oh, it's signaling when crypto will surge, basically. Oh, my laptop's so slow. Where is it? I done it at the end of last year, but definitely go watch that video. Oh, my laptop's just not laptoping, so we're going to leave that alone. But watch that video. It's on my YouTube. It's Leave the World Behind. And August, this August full moon during the next retrograde was part of it. So this is the reason, like, I had a comment on my Saturn retrograde video saying, here in India, I need to reply to you if you happen to watch this video. But they say here in India, it's like more of a slowing down type of thing. But what I see is retrogrades offer, because you've been able to have the time to do certain things, it pushes you ahead of time, if you know what I'm saying. It allows that to come up. Someone's just doing some next type of reversing outside. I'm like, are they gonna do it? But anyway, so that's what I'm seeing. I'm not really seeing suppression throughout summer, and then after the retrograde things move. I'm seeing, because things have been put in place, things are being worked on, that movement will begin while Saturn is retrograded, basically. So yeah, I'm kind of seeing things will be moving in time, especially if you felt the crypto market has been moving just super slow. Been moving super slow, like what's going on? Like it's moving a bit and then stopping. I do feel this retrograde will release some of that. I feel we'll see movement in time. And something I want to bring my awareness to as well is the new moon in July, as we're getting Neptune station retrograde and Mercury entering Cancer. But this new moon energy, anyway, depending how low we solidify our support with this full moon that we're in, depending how low we do, will depend where price will like to find its new resistance. So I feel these two will be quite important because with this new moon, we will be pulled up higher, creating that higher high. Or even if it's a higher low, that's still a bit better benefit. If it's in the opposite way, that's when it's not the best. So I am bringing my awareness to the new moon after this full moon, but ultimately I am seeing movement. And the reason, because looking on this as well as this other photo, which we'll get into the two of them, it's time to start moving. Basically, this is the presidential election years. We know we're in an electoral year right now. We are in an electoral year. So could we begin to see movements? We've got a little recovery usually in June. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of June finishes off. Like I says, when price likes to find its bottom, it can then move up more, as it's getting ready to find its new resistance with the new moon. But could we end a little up in June, or will all of that come in July? But either way, July is definitely positive, and August is, it's just a lot happening in the summer months. And usually, from my own experience, what I have noticed is that you can get this massive high in August, but then the end of August going into September, it kind of plateaus. So this makes sense to me. Especially with how the market moved in 2020 as well. So yeah, I'm seeing movement. Like I says, with Saturn, things have been put in place, crossing the I's, dotting the T's for movement to continue. But looking at this one, as I says, we're anticipating, I'm gonna say, well, for Bitcoin, because of where it's at now, potentially price discovery, or on its way to price discovery in July. That may be a big bold move to say. Whether it's the end of July, I don't know, but I am seeing that, and quite an interesting height in August. So we'll see anyway. But just looking at this chart, some things I found interesting. So we're right here now, and as you can see, we're in the red phase. Paying attention to all of the other red phases, we had this zone here. Oh, sorry, the mouse kind of covers it, but we had this zone here, and then we had this zone, and then we had this zone, and that's all the data. It just starts yellow and green there. But as you notice, every red phase, it begins to turn to orange, and that's our bull run. Over here, back in, where was this, 2013, we were at 12k, you know, Bitcoin, I would love that. And then we jumped up to was that, no, that wasn't 12k, that was $13. That, oh my days, I would love to have brought Bitcoin back then. I was in college when Bitcoin was at this price, and if I only just put my £30 EMA money, £30 EMA money, I could have at least had 3 Bitcoin at least, you know. Anyway, but we jumped up from obviously the teens all the way up to the hundreds right here. After this red zone, and it went into orange, we then went up a bit further into the yellow. Again, right here, red, we're at 500, around about 500k, not 500k, 500 Bitcoin, just over. We then entered into the orange phase, yellow, and then we went all the way up to the 18k. Yeah. Again, over here, we were red, turned orange, and then it went up to the 60k here. And then, of course, where are we? We're on the red. So soon it's going to begin to turn orange. Just taking a look at where it is as well. On the red, it's kind of like the flattish part, just looking at the line behind it, it's kind of like the flattish part, and then the price follows the line. Here as well, it's on it, it's just following the line. So something I've noticed, definitely when price is turning yellow, that's when you're probably wanting to think, when am I going to get out? Look, turned yellow here, and then it went green. So keep that in mind. Definitely keep checking this chart with Bitcoin's movements. But the only thing I'm finding interesting right now is now's the only time price is fully underneath this line. So it is going to be interesting to see how price will respond to this, because just looking at the price, as you can see, it's kind of getting smaller and smaller, but us reaching this line anyway, us just touching the line, we're at 170k Bitcoin, 130, 170, us following the line, pretty much what it did most of the times. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we can't really class this as a bull run. It wasn't really a bull run. Like, yeah, but not properly because obviously we just came back down and done this. We had a deep correction. And that's the only time this 2020 madness, it didn't really surpass the line, and we have been underneath it soon. However, on these occasions, we were following the line, we went above it. So it is going to be interesting to see what it's going to do now, because we're beneath this line. Because if we follow the line fully, like what it's done in these previous alterations, this is saying this is like a 700, 600k, 800k Bitcoin. Is that really in the cards? I don't know. So maybe that's why price is underneath it now, and maybe we'll go underneath it, like tapping just above. It turns orange to yellow. We may tip above it and then come back down, and we may follow this line a bit more. But I don't know. I'm no expert, okay? I'm just a girl who fell in love with the stars and realized it links to crypto. So I'm no expert with any of these things. We're simply just exploring. Do give a like on the video as well. Hit the subscribe if you like any of my things and support your girl. But it's going to be interesting. I just feel us fully following that line, it's having that in mind of reaching potentially at 800k Bitcoin. Now, all my technical analysis, do you see that as possible? People have been saying there's meant to be a super cycle. So could that be the case? Is this why we're underneath the line? Because if there's going to be a super cycle, we'll obviously hit it, probably come back down a bit, and then we'll go further. So a super cycle could definitely extend us and get us back on top of this stop to flow line. Or are we going to be a bit more conservative and just stay underneath it and just move slowly up this? But this is what I'm saying. Like, look, it's saying this is 2025. Just looking at the bottom down here now, it's saying this zone here is the end of 2024. Now, I am anticipating the fourth quarter a move in the market. Again, looking back at my leave the world behind crypto video of full moons during Mercury retrogrades. So I am anticipating that. But are they saying by the end of this year we could have a 300, I'm going to keep it conservative, 300k Bitcoin? Is that a possibility or is that a stretch? Because it's saying that if we're to touch that line by this zone, of course we could be lower. We may not go that high. But what are you seeing with Bitcoin in terms of the prices it's reaching? I'm unsure. Like 100k may be close to our first wetting the tongue, and then of course extending a bit beyond that, but up to the 300k, I'm unsure. But do let me know your thoughts. But all I know is that we are in the red right now. The red does not last that long. It probably lasted the longest here, but it's just there a little bit, here a tiny bit, before it turns orange, and then it's getting ready to go. Like I says with this photo as well, we're literally so close to July. We're ready to see a move coming in the market. Saturn is getting ready to reward. So that's what I'm seeing with these charts anyway. Do let me know your thoughts. Give a like on the video, subscribe, help your girl out. But let's get into the technical analysis for Bitcoin, then XRP, then the DXY. So as you can see, we do have our full moon coming in here at 60k. And this is actually interesting because I was looking at the chart previously and I thought, could we dip down to 60k? Is that a possibility? So it is interesting that the moon has come in here. And like I says, we've got until the 27th of this full moon energy of price finding its bottom. And as I said before, because it's a Sagittarius full moon, Sagittarius is a mature fire sign. He's a centurion and he holds a bow and arrow. So in its maturity, this passion, this flame that's mature, it's got its bow and arrow and it knows exactly the direction it's ready to go in. And just imagine a bow and arrow, you're going to pull it back. Okay, you're going to pull it back. Is that backness the dip in the market that's happening? You are going to pull it back because you know you're getting your target, you're getting your precision accurate, but in order to reach that accuracy, you need to dip back. So is this dip in the market? And that's why I says, depending on where price solidifies its bottom, it's just going to give a clear direction, this Sagittarius energy, on where it's actually going. So I find it interesting, like I says, we're getting our full moon here, but look, it's going to go a bit messy now. It's going to go a little bit messy. But just putting all of this back on, I drew this square here. I was like, could we get our full moon there? Obviously it's come just here, but this full moon is sat on the outside of this red line, as well as where this last zone, this last support was, this big, thick red and grey area, as well as pulling the fibs. This 60k zone sits right on top of the 888.888, which is like a perfect buying opportunity. So this is where I'm like, have we found our bottom right where we are, or could we dip a little lower? When we check out the DXY, we'll see what the dollar's doing to see strengths and stuff. But all I'm going to say is, if price hasn't fully found its support here on 63, its next level is definitely 60k. And I wouldn't be surprised if it hits that. Basically, just better buying opportunity. Or if not this 60k, basically ranging between 60 and 61. Either tipping back on this golden pocket and just sitting on the top of this support zone, or we tip back fully into it, hit the 0.888, which is directly retesting this red line, so of what it's been trading in. Because as you can see, we were getting rejected off it, we got rejection, but then we broke through and we haven't fully retested it. So could we go and retest that? Could the market just have that last washout? Yeah, could we have that? Because even just looking on this stock to flow model, like sometimes you can see here the red, it dipped down, you see. There was a little dip, still pretty much the same level, but there was a little dip there, and you can clearly see it's getting ready to do some kind of dip. Well, it's kind of pretty much doing it, so it will eventually turn around. But could that be the last little squiggle? When it turns around, we'll get a slightly higher high and then we continue up. So yeah, that's something I noticed. And this is something I noticed as well. I just want to hide all of the drawings again because it is super messy. But something I noticed was the RSI, because this was this point on the RSI, as you can see back in May, and we're not as low as it yet. We're not as low. However, if we do happen to dip deeper down just to solidify that support, and like I said, it wouldn't even be bad, because look at how the chart is moving. Look at how the chart is moving. Then it kind of went there, but it's not really, like, it needs to confirm its support. So it's either going to be this level where there was some resistance, a little tiny bit of support, and then no, yeah, where it was its resistance level. Could we sit and hold that, or will we come back down to this more secure support level where we've had one wick, price tried to come down to it again, touched it here, went a little lower than it, and then came back up to it here, which sits directly on this full moon as well as the 0.888. Yeah, but what I wanted to say is, if we do get that dip going down, we've had a bit of relief. As you can see on the RSI, price is pointing up. But if we get rejected off this level and make a lower leg down, This will be interesting, especially if the RSI gets lower than this point, because what we will be getting is a bullish divergence. So it's signaling bull run, you know. Also, compared to this zone where we were February, when it comes to the RSI, we are much more closer to the oversold area. Well, it's not oversold yet, but it's more closer to the oversold area. So again, that's signaling better opportunities and time to actually get in rather than up here. But basically, if we were to get that dip down, RSI would obviously come lower. But if price sits here on this full moon, on the 0.888, retesting this zone, we would be getting price at a higher point than here. It would still be higher, okay, but the RSI has shown slightly lower, so that would be a bullish divergence. So it's a hidden signal that the bulls are getting ready, or they're very ready. Okay, another reason why I'm like, it's not looking too good right now, why there could be a little dip lower, is because the 200, no, the 50, yeah, this is the 50, is getting ready to cross over these EMAs, or are they SMAs? I always get confused. These moving averages, it's getting ready to cross them. So I'm sure Waters Above calls it Wolf Cross. This picture, by the way, is from Waters Above, because I don't know where to find it, but he found it, so I just took a screenshot. Anyway, so these are crossing, which is a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. So even if Bitcoin doesn't come like getting a deep correction down, which I feel is unlikely, that would really crush the alt market. It would crush them. Not every coin, but especially XRP, for crying out loud. I don't know what it would do if we get lower than this point. But could this cross just cause it to dip that little bit lower? It gains proper support there. They're kind of moving that way, and then price gets ready and then crosses it back quite quickly. So pretty much what it done here, it did go a bit lower. It did cross, it went a bit lower, but then it went and crossed it again. So could another one of those be in the cards? Ultimately, we don't want a double top. Like one here, one there. We don't want a double top, but something I do want to show, which my mentor highlighted, is, are we creating a cup and handle? Let's just get a bigger time frame. Now zoom in. I'm going to get rid of the moons because this just looks like a spotty mess. There we go. I'm sure he pointed out, was this big cup, and is this the handle, or was it just this tiny part? Was it just this tiny part, a cup, and is that the handle? But either way, it is looking like a massive cup right here. So since 2021, and could this be the small tiny handle? And if that is the case, let's just do a measured move. Oh, sorry, all the lines have come back on. If we're truly to break out of here, where could we go to? Where could we go? What's this saying? So this breakout of that massive cup and handle, if that is one, we're hitting the 100,000, 100K. Imagine 100,000 K Bitcoin. Oh, my knee. Ow. I literally just twisted my knee sitting down. How does that work? But yeah, that's just interesting. That's just something I did want to have a look at. But no, I think he was looking at it at this smaller cup and handle. I think he was. But there's definitely a cup and handle pattern for sure. Is this a smaller version? You can see the cup and it's creating its handle. So in essence, apart from that bigger cup and handle move, we're getting a more smaller one. And could that be our first breakout zone before we actually entertain the 100? So this is just average. Oh yeah, absolutely. He was talking about for this smaller cup and handle, but there is a bigger, massive cup and handle. Can I put on, is it here? It's like an actual arch, circle, eclipse, arc, curve, double curve. Is it this? Yeah, I think. Oh, I don't know. I'm not good at it. But there is a cup. There's a cup for sure. Let me just put the brush on. Not looking the best, but that's basically the cup, and here's the handle. Oh, it's so messy. But that's the cup and handle, and as you can clearly see on the bigger time frame, there was a bigger cup, and then this whole part was the handle. So that would be the measured move actually getting us up to the 100,000. But it's like first we're seeing 80k, the 80k region, and I feel that's probably a bit more likely because that's definitely probably more likely. This first breakout in summer, we're getting that taste of, oh yeah, it's happening. And then price just wants to retest, come back down to this zone, back to 70s before it goes and actually entertains the 100k mark officially and actually closing above. So that is what I'm seeing. Let me just get rid of these cups and messy drawings. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. There's definitely like potentially more room to the downside to go a little. Oh, this is so disgusting. Get rid of that. No, put you back. Sorry for the disgustingness. Let's take a look at the MACD. As you can see, the MACD is turning color. So this to me is just looking like the downward phase is ending soon, but there still may be a little bit more, but it may not be as much volume. So this is why I'm saying it's like we could get that dip down literally to our moon, and then that's it. Not going lower than this point. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Like I still do have this squiggle. Oh, this looks so bad. I'm gonna get rid of. It just looks so bad. Oh, you can tell I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur, but we do our best. Yeah, like I've told you about this squiggle that I've had, and I don't feel price will do that because it will just wipe away the market. And gosh, I don't know what it's doing now, but I'm getting frustrated. I'm really frustrated. Why is it doing this? Poor laptop. Like it's Apple. Why aren't you just working? I'm at one drop of sense. So yeah, that is basically what I'm seeing. I'm gonna hide the drawings. I'm just gonna look at the 4 hour. But there's definitely crosses happening on the 4 hour. Oh gosh, obviously we're underneath all of them, even the 200s, which isn't the best for continuation. So I feel again, it's just confirmation. If we have a little leg lower, do not be alarmed because we're still finding our bottom. We're still solidifying that and confirming it. Okay, we are obviously getting close to our bull run. We're getting close to it. We're in the red. We may have that last little dip of the red before it begins to turn orange. So don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. But right now it's only being supported by the 8. It's only being supported by the 8, but it's underneath all of them. So it may just be that little weakness to just drop it, get that proper support, and then so on and move on. So that is kind of what I'm seeing. Let's just take a look at the RSI. Did I just get rid of my RSI? Oh no, can I go back? Does that come back? Yay, Okay. So RSI on the 4 hour, oh, it's showing a little bit of strength though. And this is the thing, could we go up or could we get that rejection, come back down and then fully get out of this bandwidth? But it is a smaller time frame, and it's definitely recovered after this deeper correction down, but we could get pushed further. And like I says, price just needs to solidify its support, because we thought, is this its support? But it's clearly broke through that. So is this just a break and retest? Have we broken through this zone, and could we be getting rejected off of this level, which will push us down further? That last leg. And ideally, if we do get pushed down further, we want our new moon to come up and we're at least pulled up back to this level. I mean, that would be amazing, but it depends on what the market is going to do. But that's basically what I am seeing for Bitcoin. We are super close. Let's take a look at the planetary moving alignments, luminary moving alignments. We are definitely getting close. Oh gosh, shit, damn, it's underneath all of them as well. Yeah, I feel in the shorter term, it may just be getting a bit suppressed, a bit pushed down. I don't feel it's reaching these on the daily anytime soon. But if anything, if we do get that little leg pushed down back to this zone to confirm this zone as support here, look, 1, 2. If we do get that, as well as it's hitting on the moon, we could get nice support off of the 200 moving averages for both the EMAs and SMAs. So keep that in mind. If we come back down to this level, it's not too bad, because it's where price has been for a while. And I feel that is definitely a stronger support zone, especially because it's retesting off this parallel channel when these messy drawings go back on. But that red line, I'm seeing, oh, this is too messy. I'm seeing that as a possibility. My next video will be more better, will be a bit cleaner. And my audio should be better now, isn't it, people? Should be much better. But that's what I'm seeing. If we do come back down to this zone, it's just not too bad. I feel that's a solid, strong support level, 60K, if we're pushed down further. But getting this cross is kind of like a little leg down is a bit inevitable. So I wouldn't be alarmed. But Bitcoin could surprise us, and it could just say, no, this is my support. And it could hold that, literally just hold that, and then continue on up. So it's just a waiting game now, I guess. But of course, getting in your positions is the wisest thing to do. But this bull run is coming soon. It's coming soon, okay? It is coming soon. So let's take a look at XRP. XRPZ in the hizzy. Let me know as well if you lot. My aim is to go live at one point and just go over different coins. So if you would like that, do let me know if you'll be interested in that, as well as the coin you'd like me to go over, and we'll just go over different coins in that live. Probably keep it to an hour. But let me know if you're interested in that, especially as we're getting close to crypto. I mean the bull run, not close to crypto. Anyway, XRP. XRPZ in the hizzy. So poor XRP. Poor XRP. Obviously its bottom has come in. If Bitcoin is to pull this down, like I said, it's like, because of where it is, there's not a lot of volume. If Bitcoin goes down that level, XRP may only go down to just where it's been wicking to and touching bars, basically, and just solidifying its support there. My worry is if Bitcoin kind of drops definitely below that 61, 60K region, what's going to happen to the rest of them? Yeah, I feel if it goes any lower than that, it will pull the rest of the altcoins a bit lower. XRP will then have to battle with making this strong support. It will have to battle with pushing through that resistance, because it would become its resistance. But XRP is super suppressed. Looking at the RSI, there's definitely a little more leg room to go, even if that's just gaining support off of this moving average for continuation. And if we dip a bit lower, is that price just coming down to this zone? That's kind of what I'm seeing mainly. Only if Bitcoin dips lower, it may go lower. Obviously we've had a slight bit of recovery. Oh, is this going to be like this green again? And are we just going to stay underneath instead of getting on top? This alone is just telling me it's super suppressed XRP. Um, but it is trying. Looking at all of the moving averages, unfortunately, it's underneath every single one of them. So it is showing weakness as well, a bit like Bitcoin. But damn, at least on the daily, the 200s were underneath. The 200s are the two greens. At least they were underneath on the daily for Bitcoin, but with XRP, they're above. They were only above it on the 4 hour, I believe. But XRP is underneath all of them, and that no good. That no good. Me tell you, say that no good. That no good. But yeah, would we even potentially create a bullish divergence? I don't even know at this point. But XRP moves when it wants to move, doesn't it, as well? Let's put on all of these messy drawings. So it is like fib level. When it comes to XRP, obviously, it's not a perfect buying opportunity, regardless if we find a seat on this green line, which is the bottom of this blue parallel channel, which XRP has been trading in since inception. My only issue is like right now, it's that perfect buying opportunity. It is under the 0.88. It is under that. It's on top of the 478. Is that 478 or 473? It's on top of that anyway. So it is in a good buying zone, but of course it all depends how low will it go. As you can see, price hasn't really is wicked below this line, but it hasn't traded out of it, and it never has. From what I've seen, it's never traded outside of this parallel channel. So it would be shocking. Check the mic still on. It would be shocking if we trade underneath it. I don't know if you can hear the ice cream truck. It's finished now. So ultimately, what we want to see, it's sitting on this big white line, which is another strong support. Its next support is the parallel channel. So yeah, what I wouldn't want to see is XRP now finding this parallel channel as its resistance, and it's trying to push through. I feel as long as it maintains it as its support, then that will be positive, it will remain positive, and it can continue to the upside. Because usually once it's traded at the bottom, the next phase is getting to the top of it. So ultimately that's what we want to see XRP doing. But investing wise, it's gonna make little difference, especially if XRP can hold, which I feel it will. It's not gonna go away like that. But can it hold this level? That's really all it is for XRP. Can it hold this level? Looking on the 4 hour. So it's definitely a bit weak now. As I said, it's still in this full moon energy. Even looking at the 4 hour, it's just sloping to the downside. It's still underneath all of the moving averages. It's underneath all of them as well on the 4 hour, but Bitcoin was too. And honestly, its next bet is 48 cents as its support. After that, it's 47 cents. So they're the prices I'm kind of seeing for XRP, whilst price is solidifying its bottom, because both of them with XRP and Bitcoin, it just doesn't look like it's found its proper support just yet. It needs to make, after like a day or two extra moves, we can see if it's fully at its bottom or if it's going to make another leg. Like, for example, after a day or two, we can see if price just holds here. Again, for Bitcoin, if price holds where it's at and then makes a little higher high than at least this zone, then we're seeing some strength. And then the next one will be higher than this zone. We'll see some strength. But are we going to do that is the question. How low will we go? Are we holding this or dipping lower? But 48 and 47 cents is definitely what I'm seeing. And I feel that's pretty much all for XRP. It's at its low. It can't really go down any further. So it's a perfect buying opportunity. and we just want to make sure it's holding that 48 or 47. And if we dip into and close below 46, then it's a little cause for concern, and we just need to see what price is doing. Will it just be a wick if we go lower, or are we chilling there? But let's take a look at the DXY before we close to see what the dollar's doing. Okay, so straight away, this is still the 4 hour. We can see that dollar finished off on a strength, and it looks like it's going to continue this little strength. It clearly, this either could have been a little break, and it's retesting to continue, or it got rejected, bounced off, and it's going to attempt it again just on this zone. Is this a natural fib? Yeah, it's a fib. Oh, what fib have we landed on? Okay, 236.236 we've landed on. Oh, what's that noise? So that's interesting. That is interesting. But just looking on the 4 hour, we can clearly see it's got more to go. We can, oh, is it going to change? Just looking at the RSI on the 4 hour anyway, you can see we went up a bit, and it looks like it's turning, getting ready to do its next leg up. Oh, confirmation burp. Oh, that was a dirty burp. Please forgive me. We're still in the green. So again, just confirming a bit more upward momentum is definitely in the cards. But let's take a look at the daily just to get a clearer photo. So the daily MACD is getting ready to definitely move a bit more on the daily to finish that off. And the RSI could get a little turning in it though, because we've kind of just gone up. It could be a little relief before continuation, but there's definitely still room on the upward side. But yeah, just let me get rid of this fib, because what I want to bring you awareness to, the moons aren't really important as much on the DXY, so we'll get rid of that. What I want to bring you awareness to is this red line, which I'm sure I spoke about in the last video. It clearly looks like it's making its way up to that. So what we want to see is how price gets rejected off it. Will we go a bit higher than this point, or ultimately are we going to create a higher low? So it will be lower than this point, but it's still a high, so that's why we call it higher lows. Because if it does that, then that will be a signal, a clear signal for weakness, and then rejection. So this is why it's like, especially if this wants to retest this zone to get rejected off of it, this is where we could get that slight deeper correction with crypto, as we're still in its bottoming phase with this full moon. If the dollar wants to test this area, and it's once the dollar gets rejected off of this area, we'll see that movement with this stock to flow chart, so and so getting ready to go obviously into July. If the dollar gets nicely rejected off this level with a higher low, then of course that's a sign of weakness and will begin to retrace, causing that momentum to build up in the crypto market. So that's kind of what I am seeing, is close to getting to an area where it can clearly be rejected, which will be more of the movement in crypto. But there's definitely that little leg more, and because it's not a lot, this is why I'm seeing Bitcoin not dipping that much, between 60-61k, and then that would mean XRP wouldn't dip that much. It will rest on the lowest 47-48 cents. Yeah, so it makes sense. Moves this little bit, crypto has that last little dip, scare people away a bit more, then we get rejected, and that's crypto beginning to recover as we enter into July. So that's basically what I'm seeing. Of course, we could get that other side of the story and we get a higher high. That would be interesting. So all I'm going to say is we need to see how we react, how price responds, would I say, round about this level. Will it be a clear rejection and a candle close at a lower point, or will it be higher? If it's going to be higher, we could anticipate deeper corrections in the crypto market. And if that's the case, it's like black swan event. They're really just trying to scare people out last minute. But I don't know how the alt market will respond to that. So maybe that won't be the case. So I'm just keeping it right now at the idea of we could get rejected off this level, come back down. That would be crypto, Bitcoin having that deeper correction, that little bit more. They clearly find their support, and then they continue to move up as this gets rejected and goes down. But that is what I am seeing for this cycle. Don't like using the word week, but that is what I'm seeing. I am potentially seeing this cycle, its last little bit of downward movement to solidify its support with this full moon energy. And of course, as we're entering into our new cycle, we're getting that retrograde energy coming in with time and rewards getting ready, as Saturn does like to reward if you've been doing the thing properly, basically. So that is what I'm seeing. Perfect buying opportunities this cycle. And once price has found its support, these may well be the last best buying opportunities for these prices. There's always going to be time to dollar cost average, but for these prices, for ROI, I'm seeing this cycle as potentially the last cycle or last week, if you like to use the word week, to get involved at these prices. Don't want to spread fear or anything like that. You do what you're doing. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. There's always going to be opportunities, whether that's in crypto stocks or something completely different. So, but if you are invested in it and if it's what you wanted to do, these are definitely the last best prices. So if you wanted to, you know what to do. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts. This was Crypto Angle podcast number 62. Number 62. And obviously, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you grab the calendar, people. Support your girl out. Support me by just liking the video, commenting, sharing your thoughts. It will help me. But I will see you in Crypto Angles podcast number 63. And with that being said, Angel out. Bye.